Hello and welcome to Sustainable Bites, where we will explore key issues linked to sustainability in business. My name is Louise, and in this episode we are discussing the challenges of zero food waste. I am joined today by Courtney, Naya and Rhiannon, our three guests who will share their insights on this challenge that businesses face. According to the Scottish Government, businesses play a significant role in the nation's food waste footprint. Over 1 million tonnes of food and drink were wasted in 2021. Now, there has been recent developments and ongoing efforts. We're still waiting for the latest figures to be released from the Scottish Government, and they will be interesting to find out what they are. Courtney, let me come to you.
Well, businesses in Scotland are actually responsible for 39.4% of the food waste in Scotland, and this equates to about 389,000 tonnes of waste. I think it's crucial for companies to take immediate action and lessen the environmental consequences of food waste while enhancing the associated social and economic advantages. Some consequences could be the overflowing of landfills that are taking up valuable space and contaminating our groundwater and soils. This is ultimately affecting our ecosystems and communities. As well as this, there's increased greenhouse gas emissions, which are contributing to global warming and climate change. This is ultimately affecting biodiversity, our weather patterns and sea levels. Zero Waste Scotland calculated that the carbon footprint of food waste collected from Scotland households in 2019 was roughly 1.9 million tonnes of carbon dioxide. The production of goods is often involving the use of raw materials, and when products are being discarded instead of recycled and reused, the resources of those products are wasted. Companies need to try and make production a more circular economy to be more sustainable long term.
So how important is education in this effort, and what are some of the effective ways to encourage individuals and businesses to minimise their waste?
I think educating individuals and businesses is critical in raising awareness of the environmental impacts of waste. Individuals and businesses need to take responsibility and implement strategies for their purchasing, consuming and disposing of waste, thereby ensuring waste reduction at every phase of the supply chain. Educating individuals on how to make the most of their resources such as raw materials, water and their energy usage is essential for decreasing the carbon footprint generated throughout the supply chain. Businesses can also take advantage of platforms like Too Good To Go. Engaging with these platforms facilitates the redistribution of edible goods, enabling a business to generate some revenue rather than items being a total loss. We actually have a researcher here from Too Good To Go to give you some more information.
So, in my research, I really didn't know about this company, and it is really good. Too Good To Go helps reduce waste and its losses for restaurants, bakeries and groceries, and it allows them to sell food at discounted prices, and it enhances sustainability by reducing food waste, with businesses contributing to cutting down waste disposal. It also attracts new customers, which is true because I am now a potential new customer myself. So the platform helps businesses reach a new customer base, and it also helps them improve a brand image. With companies engaging in sustainability efforts such as reducing food waste, and this can really boost their reputation because of the cost of living crisis, and it also helps people shop effectively. One of the companies that I looked at was Greggs, who use this app. So they're in partnership with Too Good To Go, and this allows Greggs to reduce on their food waste, and they also have contributed to food outlet shops, so that at the end of the day the food that they are going to be potentially wasting, that goes to their outlet shops, and that then helps them reduce further cost and sustainability on waste reduction. And Greggs have now reached their goal of 30 outlets within the UK, and 5 of them are in Glasgow.
So how can businesses collaborate with charities and local organisations to redistribute surplus food and help combat hunger?
Well, companies have the opportunity to connect with the community by collaborating with their local organisations and any local charities. They could transfer or donate excess food there, and this would aid in battling the fight against hunger. They could also pair with local food banks in addition, and I think this mitigates food waste as well.
So, do you think Scotland is making enough progress towards reducing food waste? Like, what policies or initiatives would you like to see implemented?
I think companies could implement assessments of their food inventory and sales better to make necessary modifications to their purchasing and portion control. A lot of establishments offer a takeaway service which I think is beneficial for themselves and customers, because at least they can take any kind of excess food away with them. I think as well as this, individuals could use apps such as Supercook, which is an app where you input the ingredients left in your house and it creates recipes from what you've got there. I think this is a really good way to start at home to mitigate the food waste problem. Businesses could also incorporate long-term solutions to have more sustainable practices. So looking at the whole supply chain and aligning it with their sustainability goals that they set as a business, considering the farming methods, production and distribution of the goods. Businesses could also join regulatory bodies such as the Global Reporting Initiative, which employs a range of universal standards that pertain to various sectors and topics, which allows for everybody, regardless whether you're small or a large business or in the private or public sector, to join. I think being a part of that as well would promote the business as transparent and committed to sustainability.
While Courtney was talking about sustainable advocate, while minimising food waste is crucial, companies may face challenges like increased costs for new equipment, staff training and waste management services, along with potential reputational damage if they're perceived as not taking waste reduction seriously. So like financial risks, when I was doing some research, I found that most businesses don't recycle their food waste because they are worried about the extra cost for new bins, onboarding new food waste providers and providing the training for staff. Businesses are often worried about the cost of new bins and storage for waste. However, the fee is usually included within the cost of the waste carrier service, meaning that companies do not need to invest their own time and money into sourcing a new one. On top of this, specialised food waste bins can also support with providing good hygiene standards. Also, staff training. If businesses are going to start disposing of their food waste properly, they will need to put their staff through new training for it. For example, if it was a restaurant, the food is often prepared in one location and then transported to multiple areas where the food is served. This means implementing changes to food waste systems on site, requiring extra training for staff to ensure they understand what needs to be separated, where it needs to be separated and why it is important to do so. In addition to that, new technologies and systems. A lot of companies are apprehensive in investing in new technology or new food systems as it will add extra costs, worry about carbon emissions and putting staff through more training. Some businesses just don't want to invest in new technology or machinery in case they don't get immediate return on their investment.
You mentioned that 1/3 of all the food produced is lost or wasted. What are the main points in the supply chain where the food waste occurs, and why is it such a widespread issue?
So food waste occurs at multiple points in the supply chain, including production, i.e. farmers and fisheries. Food is lost due to crop diseases, weather conditions, overproduction and market fluctuations. Imperfect looking produce is often discarded because it doesn't meet retail standards. Also, post-harvest handling and storage, poor storage facilities, inadequate refrigeration and improper handling causes food spoilage, especially in developing countries with limited infrastructure. Processing and manufacturing, even consumer level as us, household waste, food due to over-purchasing, improper storage, confusion over expiry dates and uneaten leftovers. Due to the widespread issue, consumer behaviour, lack of awareness, poor meal planning and misunderstanding of expiry dates contribute to waste. Economic and market pressures, farmers and retailers overproduce to ensure supply, leading to excess.
Described reducing food waste as a triple win that benefits the economy, food security and the environment. Can you give an example of a country or business that has successfully implemented food waste reduction strategies?
Yeah, so one great example is Denmark, which has become a global leader in food waste reduction. The country has cut its food waste by around 25% since 2010 through a combination of government policies, business initiatives and public awareness campaigns. Denmark opened the world's first supermarket, WeFood, that exclusively sells surplus or near expiry food at discounted prices. This helps reduce food waste while offering affordable options for consumers.
So I recently read an article that suggests even well-resourced businesses can fail to meet zero waste targets simply because their leaders don't model the right values. So do we think it is down to some of the challenges that we've discussed today, or could it be down to leadership behaviour? Maybe that's something to discuss next time. That brings us to an end of our discussions today. I'd like to say a huge thank you to our guests and by sharing your valuable insights, and obviously our listeners. If you're interested in learning more about zero food waste, please check out the tagline below and let us know your thoughts and what action businesses should be taking. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time on Sustainable.